All right, guys, we're telecasting to you here from East Nashville. We're dueling Danocasters. I thank Dan Strain for these awesome guitars. My buddy Jack Ruch here joining us today. We usually have coffee a few times a week down the street, and he lives right over here in beautiful sunny East Nashville. And we thought we'd join forces here and do a little question and answer thing here on the YouTube.
One thing that I have noticed you do a couple times recently, and I think I heard you do it the other night with Wig, is some of this kind of like, I've heard you play straight ahead country a million times and do like the kind of country double stop type stuff. Right. But I've been hearing you do some kind of like almost gospel-y type double stop things.
Okay.
Like over kind of an R&B thing. I can't really play it, but some of this kind of like, like real fluid kind of.
Oh, okay.
Maybe like, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love that. So I've been trying to kind of, if I pick up the guitar to practice, it's really just trying to do what we're doing here, connect more of these chord voicings and, stuff like that. Sitting around, okay, how can I... Really that kind of stuff, which we all know. But some of these, like, well, let's see.
If you wanted to do one of those kind of like C major kind of licks and really go from one spot up to a different spot in the neck, kind of like, and really, like do it kind of fast and fluid. What would you kind of, so like that. Or that kind of thing.
Yeah, so if I'm going here, well, I guess a good way to work it out all the way would be I would probably start, basically you're doing this. You're kind of playing a pentatonic, but taking the 6 out of it. Yeah. And so I'll just harmonize that. Let's see it. Hold on one second.
Thirds and fourths.
Kind of thirds and fourths, yeah.
Which that's sort of the recipe.
See, Jack actually knows what it really is. But that's kind of it.
But you're not playing the 6. Yeah, that's kind of... It's funny because you're like, everybody plays that stuff a little bit different. Sometimes it's just a matter of skipping a certain note or making a certain little transition.
Right.
That can be the key to like unlocking how somebody does it.
Right.
Different than I would naturally do it.
Right. And what I'm noticing, I think a lot, is going up the pentatonic, the 6 can sound very pentatonic-y. But then coming back down, the 6th works. But sometimes sometimes that note kind of, it's a little too much. So I like to take that out and just go right to the chord tones of 1, 2, 3, 5, 1. It's kind of spelling that. So instead of, it kind of gets you right up to the money note quicker.
Well, it's different. It changes up the rhythm too, because now you just have 1, 2, 3, 4 notes of the scale back to the. See, I naturally wanted.
Right. That's right, That's right, And I'll just do those little things.
And you do this kind of stuff like that, those little embellishments and stuff.
Yeah, sometimes. That's my hillbilly gospel.
And when you're picking that stuff, sorry, I'm going to ask you a million questions.
Oh, yeah.
When you're picking that stuff, are you grabbing it with the finger or just all with the pick?
Let's see.
Like if you don't even think about it.
style probably more of the pick with single notes.
Yeah.
Unless you want
Unless you want like a snap.
unless you want the little bit of that snap. Now with the chords, I think it's
A
more
little bit of both. Yeah.
probably a little both. It's more authentic, I think, to probably play those with a pick. It might be a little softer, you know. Now that'll happen a lot.
That's another thing I wanted to ask
I'll
you
do
about.
that a lot.
Because that's something that I guess is more kind of I think of it as like a banjo technique. I don't know if that comes from bluegrass or classic country guitar playing, but you do a lot of that kind of. I think of it kind of like a roll, like you're playing like a pick and two fingers kind of roll, like some of this kind of. You know, I can't even really do it with the fingers, but it would be like those kind of little descending sequence
I'm using
things.
those a lot, probably too much. Let's see, that particular lick I would probably do with a single. I'll tell you where I use those a lot is this. If I'm playing this is kind of a good trick. If I'm playing in like an E or an E7, I'm so out of tune. But I'll think of that E9 like a B minor.
B minor, yeah.
So all this stuff, it's all over E. But I'm thinking like this, and so then I get this. So I'll do this like.
And that's all just picking two fingers.
Picking two fingers, like even
do one of those just slowed down if you can.
I'm so out of tune here.
Well, that's fine.
So this kind of stuff too. A good way to practice that would be to do this. Let's see.
Yeah.
If you're gonna practice that.
It's hard to get. It's hard.
Or if you want
to kind of got to get that tight and mechanical.
That kind of tight. Or you can do the flats. But these are great. I love this. I love that sound over like an E9.
Man, it's hard to get that.
That's it though.
Yeah.
But I learned I stole a lot of that from Danny Gatton video when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, those Hot Licks videos.
That Danny Gatton stuff. That's what I learned. 5 minor over 1 for the first time.
Yeah, which is the same as doing
Mixolydian, basically, right?
Yeah, Mixolydian. Yeah.
I hate to say Mixolydian, but that's what it is.
It's a dominant. This is just a dominant thing.
And he was also the first person, honestly, that I heard blend 5 different styles of music into one solo, which I thought this is the coolest thing I've ever heard. And he was the first person to explain this technique also, which is a big trick of mine that I use all the time, is like if I'm playing over, and this is so basic really, but if I'm playing over E7, I'm going to play ideas out of D major 7 and B minor over E7.
Yeah,
you know, that's
really the same. I mean,
we're
playing arpeggios, but I mean that's the relative minor relative.
Right, but if you play too literally out of that, it starts sounding like you're playing in the wrong key. If you take the framework of the arpeggios of the major 7s, that's where it starts sounding cool.
Yeah.
So then if I play in E minor, I'm going to play out a G major 7 and play the same licks. Like if I do this, another lick I stole from off like that. So that's like A7 and G major 7, which is all mixolydic. So if I'm playing here,
the way I've always thought about that, because I think about it all as like one chord. I think about it like I'm playing E minor.
Totally.
So I think about like what are those notes? If I was like sitting at the piano and I played an E minor and I wanted to add other notes to the chord.
Right.
So like that G major, you get the ninth. You get the minor third. You get the fifth. You get the flat seventh. So it's like the upper extensions.
Totally.
You know.
Right. Totally. Yeah.
And it kind of needs to resolve too. Like if I just
resolve.
Especially if you play it over a dominant chord.
Right.
You know. Yeah, if you play A7, you kind of got to get back.
You got to get back. Right.
Chord
exactly.
And that D7 is even more, or the D major 7 over E7.
Right.
You have the flat 7.
Sorry, dude. I'm so out of tune. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, you've got the flat 7, the 9, the 11, and the 13. So it's like all the extensions.
And then when you go minor, So watch this. So then if I'm here, if I'm in E7, what you're doing is you're taking, it's really about the framework of the arpeggio that gives you kind of like that bebop a little bit quality. Yeah. And it kind of makes it have some cool phrases. So if I'm here and he's playing E7, that's just an example, right? So I'm looking at the G shape, E chord, but also it's that sound over it, right? So you got to come out of it, you know. So shit. Sometimes I'll resolve to the 5, but you're still going to hit the 1.
Well, if you're practicing this stuff, it's good to.
Oh, sorry.
You got to be able to see. You got to be able to see like. There's D7, but then there's E7.
Right.
And then you know.
Right. Totally.
Right. So you can move between those.
Yeah, your ear has to be able to accept that sound as being a little bit different. That's why you can't just play major pentatonic or minor pentatonic over a dominant chord. That's why the Mixolydian, which I hate the modes, but
it's just, I mean,
you
just call it a dominant scale. It's really just
dominant 7 scale.
Yeah,
that's what I'm on.
Yeah,
so that's all that is, and you guys have heard me say it so many times. Your major scale, so you just got to get that scale in your head big time. I mean, that's the scale I use the most of anything, bar none, no question about it, right?
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the minor, if I'm playing like in A minor, I love this sound of this chord, and I don't like the way this sounds. Like your natural minor scale, you can't use over every situation. So
well,
this note this is a tough note.
Yeah, you don't really want to play that over a 1 minor chord.
No. So then,
I would usually more play the raise 6.
Yeah. Right. And so if I'm playing over the minor, I like this. So this is the A pentatonic. But then just add the 2.
Yeah. Which is very much like playing that would be like a C major 7.
Right. So then it's a good exercise too, because you get away from this. Just that one note. It turns into this kind of triplet exercise. Because if you do this, watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you go to D minor, it has a way of timing out in a nice way. And then if you can start your lines now on that, you know. Like if I'm here, that's a G triad kind of line over A minor, right? I'm kind of stealing from, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just using some of those.
Yeah, all those triads.
Yeah. Kind of using the framework of what you already know to superimpose over these other sounds.
Yeah.
Danny Gatton really, those videos really resonated with me because he wasn't teaching from a theory place. He was like, hey, you already know this, just layer that in over this. But you got to hear it.
Yeah.
So, like you said, if you don't resolve.
Well, yeah. Like, I mean, you know, I never have really thought in terms of scales very much, or really spent much time learning scales.
Right.
Because the thing that, and I see this a lot with people that, you know, we teach and stuff.
Right.
One of the hang-ups is you get stuck in a scale shape, and you're not really thinking about how each individual note relates back to the chord.
Totally.
Like if you just play a natural minor scale, you just kind of meander through it, and you're not thinking about, well, would I play, you know, that F note over an A minor? Not really.
Right.
But if you think about the chord, then playing that ninth, you know, you're going to play that in your rhythm anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and so thinking about that as every melody note you play is just an extension of the harmony, the chords.
Right. Which to me is like, and this is another big thing I always talk about too, is the fact that we live in Nashville is a big part of like the music and guitar DNA here, because it gets in your brain and it's pounded into your skull for 20 years that it's so much about the song that you're playing.
Yeah. Everything
that we're all talking about here, it really does come down to the actual song that you're playing. I mean, what other city on the planet revolves around songwriters? And really that has a lot to do with the way that we're being hopefully tasteful. I mean, so to Jack's point, like if I'm playing this, watch, just play a little bit. If I'm playing this. So that's like super tasty over that, because this, you know, is not really going to fit over that vibe of that song. It's like an
you just
R&B
got to use a
groove.
little. You just got to use your ear and use some judgment. And honestly, all that comes from making a million mistakes.
Right.
You know, trying things out
Experience.
and having it not go great, and kind of going, oh, okay, next time maybe I don't play that, you know, weird jazz lick over that thing.
Right. Or if somebody hits an A minor and the first thing somebody does is go,
Yeah.
I fucking hate that lick, because you're just doing it because you've been doing it for so long. But like, really listen to, it's like the other night when I was playing with Wig, I'm like, you know, damn man, like I really gotta, I had to like really step back and go, I'm a little out of my element here. I haven't done this in a while.
Yeah.
Like playing rhythm guitar and trying to not, you know, of course there was a couple moments where I got a little off the rails, of course, but man, it's interesting how that, you know, it's pretty wild, man. I mean, it's all about listening though. I mean, that note, that natural scale that they're going to teach you at Berkeley, that note's not going to work all the time.
Well, it's funny because like over the A minor, right, that note kind of rubs in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
And lately, like, I feel like over a C major, that note can rub
Yeah.
a little bit. I mean, obviously there's a time and a place for it, but kind of sometimes in a line, I tend to go more for that raised fourth thing, you know, like you know, that kind of thing. That kind of sound. Depending on the circumstance, but it is one of those notes that you don't want to just mindlessly play a shape and lay into that note on a harsh section. It's going to be kind of ugly. Right.
Yeah. I'm totally with you. It's I think it comes down to what's appropriate for the song, because that note, and Jack's going to tell us why here in a minute, but that note, I mean, where it does work to me is if you're playing,
right, and that's a diminished thing.
Go ahead, and I'm gonna play this just for a little bit, Jack, and show us how that note works there. So now what's happening is A minor is now in our ear the foundation. And the 5, and what I'm going to call this the 5/7, not the 3 dominant, because even though we're in the key of C, this is our foundation. So I'm going to call whatever my ear is accepting as the foundation of what's going to sound right for the next 5 minutes. I'm calling that the 1. I don't care where you went to school.
I completely agree
because
with
this
you.
is a 5.
I grew up playing in blues bands where songs are in minor keys. You have a song in A minor. It's blues in A minor.
Right.
Some debate over that. But you have songs that are in dominant keys too.
Right.
You can have a song in E7. It's not the 5 chord, it's the root.
Right. It's all how your ear...
Own personal thing.
Me too. I mean,
vent about that later.
Your ear is the final judge. And so if I play this, let's see.